Nick Bosa has signed the largest contract in NFL history for a defensive player. I'm going to tell you what that means for this Week 1 matchup versus the San Francisco 49ers this weekend. Also, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin talked about Broderick Jones and why he's not starting at left tackle to start the season. Some very great insights from Coach T coming on later on in today's show. And then also ESPN straight up disrespects the Pittsburgh Steelers roster heading into the 2023 season. Make sure you stick around to see what they had to say. And also make sure you click that subscribe button to join us for our Week 1 watch party here. We're going to be covering every single snap of this Week 1 matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the San Francisco 49ers. We got live play-by-play, live streaming scoreboard. We're going to be doing a bunch of super chat promotions, live post-game coverage, pre-game coverage, the whole 9 yards. And I think the real belle of the ball here, the crown jewel of this watch party this week, is that we're doing a Joey Porter Jr. jersey raffle on this week's watch party to kick off the 2023 season. So if you want a brand new JPJ jersey in your closet, you want a chance to win, make sure you click that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at Jack_Sperry, and make sure you tune in on Sunday for your chance to win. Now let's talk about Nick Bosa, who just signed a massive contract with the San Francisco 49ers. 5 years, $170 million total, which is absolutely insane, man. That makes him the highest paid edge rusher in the National Football League by a wide margin, and the highest paid defensive player, period, in the National Football League on a yearly basis. You look at Nick Bosa right now, 34 million buckos here coming into the next 5 years per season. That trounces TJ Watt's 28 million number that he got a couple of seasons back. Joey Bosa, Nick's older brother, is currently making 27. Myles Garrett, Khalil Mack, Max Crosby, Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, Cameron Jordan, and Harold Landry round out the rest of the top 10. And then you take a look at this 49ers defensive line. And I still think, some people think they've taken a step back this year. I still think this group is pretty darn good, man. Drake Jackson, I was a big fan of his coming out of the draft last season. You got a really great defensive tackle duo there with Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave. And then you got the last year's Defensive Player of the Year on the other side of the defensive line there with Nick Bosa. I absolutely think this is going to be a problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. This is going to be a big thing because Chukwuma Okorafor, the right tackle, is slated to go up against Bosa this weekend. He was the lowest graded offensive lineman for the Steelers in 2022, so that's definitely going to be a matchup to keep your eye on. And another interesting part of this story is that Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, had this to say about Bosa's playing time this Sunday against the Steelers. We'll be smart with it, and it'll be based on the next 2.5 practices. So for me, what I feel like what this quote means here from Kyle Shanahan is that they're going to be smart with him. It might be a limited snap count sort of deal, but I do expect him to be on the field quite a bit here going into this Week 1 matchup because they need him, in my opinion, in order to win this week in Acrisure. Now, let me know who you guys think is the better overall player. Who's the best edge rusher in the National Football League? Is it Nick Bosa, last year's Defensive Player of the Year, type NB, or do you think TJ Watt is still the best edge rusher in the NFL today? Give me a TJ if you think it's TJ Watt. And this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Game Time is the brand new sponsor here on Steelers Talk, and it is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets on all the sports, music, theater, and comedy in your area. This past Sunday, me and my girlfriend Cassie, we wanted to go to an MLB baseball game last minute on Sunday. And so what do? I pull out my Game Time app, I find some tickets last minute. And the best part is, guys, you don't have to go searching all these different ticket apps for the best price. They have the lowest price guarantee, and they've got a bunch of great features, including a feature here where you got the phone in front of you, you move it around 360. It gives you a 360 view of your potential seats, so you always know where you're going to be sitting before you get to the stadium. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason, guys. Get images of your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use Steelers Chat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Steelers Chat in all caps for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, so now let's discuss head coach Mike Tomlin and what he had to say about first-round rookie Broderick Jones here, because he's not slated to start here to start the 2023 season. Of course, Omar Khan traded up to get Broderick in the 2023 NFL Draft in the first round, so expectations were high. Lots of people expected him to start right away, but that's not the case. But, Mike Tomlin had some really interesting things to say about this to the press in his weekly press conference. This is what he had to say. I know oftentimes depth charts produce stories, maybe what's wrong with Broderick, etc. There's nothing wrong with Broderick. There was nothing wrong with Cam Hayward when he watched. If you have a good team, if you have people playing well, oftentimes it means young, capable guys get an opportunity to watch as they grow and develop. That's the story of the left tackle position, and I feel really comfortable about where we are. And man, I absolutely love this quote from Coach Tomlin here, and I think it really shows that he's got great perspective on these sorts of things. He knows, he's been around the block, man. He knows how these things work. He's been the head coach now for such a long time. He's one of the longest tenured head coaches in the National Football League, and he understands when you've got capable starters here, and guys like Dan Moore Jr., guys like Broderick Jones, guys like Chukwuma Okorafor on this offensive line, you can allow Broderick Jones to sit in the oven a little bit longer here and develop, and you don't have to rush him out too early. I really do like that approach from Mike Tomlin here. I think Dan Moore Jr. is a little bit more advanced in his pass protection right now, and when you got a second-year quarterback in Kenny Pickett, the number one priority has to be to protect him, and I think it's a good strategy to let these cookies bake here, and of course, that's a metaphor for Broderick Jones. He's just a little bit raw coming out of college, and when you have a good team here in the Pittsburgh Steelers and you got capable starters at the left, or a capable starter here, in this case, Dan Moore Jr., there's no reason to rush Broderick Jones out of the oven here, and you can wait till he's fully cooked and you can take those puppies out and you can eat. I fully expect Broderick to be a really, really productive player in his time in a Steelers uniform. I don't think this is a sign that he stinks or that he's going to be a bust or anything of that nature. I still think he's going to be a really successful player with this organization. I see him still as our franchise left tackle for the next decade plus. Now, coming up here on Steelers Talk, I'm going to tell you what ESPN had to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was straight up disrespectful. They have been disrespecting the Pittsburgh Steelers throughout the 2023 offseason. This might have been the most egregious, so make sure you stick around for what ESPN had to say. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about ESPN here, and specifically the analytics department, because in their analytics model here, they project that the Pittsburgh Steelers have a measly 7% chance to win the AFC North in 2023. Now, in my opinion, this is not only wrong, it is insulting to the work that Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin has done throughout the offseason to build this roster. When it comes to these analytic models that ESPN uses, they use the stats used from last year. And I think the biggest crux in that here, especially for these 2023 projections, is that the Steelers no longer have a rookie quarterback. Kenny Pickett came in after taking barely any first-team reps in preseason or training camp, and he's coming in to start with guys he has pretty much no chemistry with. He struggles early. He gets better later on in the season. And now throughout this offseason, he's taken every single step to give himself the best shot to prove that he's the franchise quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's got better chemistry with his guys after a full offseason. He's got full control of Matt Canada's offense, where Canada is now giving him the option to check line protections, to check hot routes, to change the play with audibles. He's giving him that freedom this year, and that speaks to what Kenny Pickett has done this offseason, the work that he's put in. And then also on his preseason tape, he looks so much more confident in the pocket. And to use last year's stats for a model of this year's projections, I think it's just malpractice, plain and simply. I think Kenny Pickett is going to be that X factor for the Pittsburgh Steelers here in 2023. And when you add to the fact that you've got an elite defense, when you've got great weapons around Kenny Pickett, the only thing that can really derail this season, in my opinion, is if Matt Canada is just absolutely atrocious as an offensive play caller, and he can't get anything going again here in 2023, and or Kenny Pickett just isn't that guy. I don't think either of those are going to be the case, and because of that, I think Pittsburgh's chances at the division are at least 20%. I think that with the defense that you got, with the head coach that you have, the Kenny Pickett looking fantastic in the preseason, all these things are adding up to a very successful season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And to give them just a 7% chance, I think it looks bad on ESPN as an organization and their analytics department for putting out this garbage. Now, let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. What is the % chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers win the AFC North here in 2023? Put it on a scale of 0 to 100 for me down there in the comment section. I have a feeling I'm going to see some pretty high numbers down there in the comments. That'll be it for me today, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. Make sure you click that subscribe button to join us for our Sunday watch party here. We're going to do watch parties for every single game of the season this year. So if you want a place to kick it with your fellow Yinzers and get your daily Steelers news updates for free here on YouTube, this is going to be the place for you. Really do appreciate all the support, guys. I will see you guys later. And until next time, here we go, Steelers.